Good afternoon. Welcome once again to Wave Your Grades, coming to you live, KUAW.org, stationed at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center in Kansas City, Missouri. My name is Carl Boyd, your host every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. on KUAW.org. And we have had a series of programs where I have been allowed to go solo, as it were, in anticipation of kicking off the Fifth Front campaign, which is an elaborate campaign to make sure that America understands the importance of American education and American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops. My dear brother Louis George Walker, I'm going to start off with a couple, if not a few, congratulatory remarks, if you will, as we bring on Wave Your Grades for Stoots for Boots. By the way, Stoots for Boots is our nonprofit organization, as it were. Stoots stands for Students Theater of Operations, the school. And we ask that American students strive for excellence in honor of our troops. So this presentation is brought to you by Stoots for Boots. Now back to congratulatory remarks, starting with Louis George Walker, starting with KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, and had the occasion when the camera came on, Brother Louis George Walker, to see that behind you and around you, a well-lit new studio. I want to say congratulations. Now, you will be the first to say it's not brand new because you're saying that there are some additions. But did you want to say anything about that? I'm saying congratulations. All right. All right. Now I'm seeing you. I don't know if you're seeing me seeing you, but I'm seeing you. Oh, okay. That's right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And as always, helping our viewer listeners to know how they can access the station, how they can support KUAW.org, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, founder Louis George Walker. And one of the things that I don't say often enough is that Louis George Walker being responsible for not just founding, as it were, KUAW.org, but also doing the heavy lifting. And Mr. Walker knows someone whose name is Mildred Walker, who heavy lifts with and or before him. So don't know how to express enough appreciation for the importance of the position that you hold. And you have been, I don't know how to say kind enough or what the appropriate phrase would be, but you've been producing and engineering Wave Your Grades. It's been months now. So again, thank you very much. And again, congratulations. I said that there would be a few congratulatory remarks. And Brother Walker, you know Archie Welch.
Oh yes, yes I do.
On November 8th, Archie Welch will be the recipient of the Veteran of the Year Award. Not
Congratulations to
only
Archie.
is it singular, but I think the first that will be presented him by the city of Kansas City, Missouri. So we say a hearty congratulations to Archie Welch. I knew Archie decades before I even heard about his distinguished military career. I got to Kansas City from Chicago in 1980, and I was blessed to meet Mary Groves Bland, who at that time was running for state representative in Kansas City, Missouri. And I met Phil Curls, president of Freedom Incorporated. And through Freedom Incorporated, met Alan Wheat and Archie Welch. And all of that time, their political prowess, what they knew about the community that they have served, all of that time, I did not know that Archie Welch was the distinguished veteran that he is. So a hearty congratulations to our own, as it were, Archie Welch, Veteran of the Year. My goodness. I also will say this not in terms of a congratulations, as much as some enlightenment, simply because it involves me myself. I have been allowed to join and am now a member of the VFW Auxiliary of VFW Post 8100 in Grandview, Missouri. And the reason that I say that this is a matter of enlightenment, as it were, is because I am a civilian. And by the way, this is one of those disclaimers I need to make on an ongoing basis, because our program features veterans and students. But it was my oldest brother, Herbert William Boyd Jr., who served in South Korea 1952 until 1955. And because my brother served in a foreign war, I am allowed as a family member to join the VFW Auxiliary. I could not join the VFW. I am not a veteran of a foreign war, but they allow family members to be associated with the VFW through the auxiliary. And Josiah Tyler, president of the VFW Auxiliary Post 8100, was kind enough to explain that opportunity to me. So we will be talking more about that on Wave Your Grades on future shows. Now, as it relates to what we are about, and uh, God is not the author of coincidences. God is the author of things being in order. Next week, Louis George Walker let us know that if not totally in the studio, much closer to having full operation in the studio. Brother Walker, next week is the first Saturday in November. This also kicks off the Veterans Day month of November, of course, Veterans Day, November 11th. And we are formally kicking off something that we call the Fifth Front First, the Fifth Front First campaign on the first Saturday in November on Wave Your Grades in the new studio on the first Saturday in November. That's pretty exciting for us, Brother Walker. Well, thank you very, very much. And
Yes,
I
yes,
will
you're
be
welcome.
spending time explaining why we are doing what we are doing and why it is so important. So, having this opportunity, having had these opportunities again to go solo, and now getting back in to the full measure of what the program is all about in the new studio, all of this going on, I have the occasion to attempt to make clear what this campaign is about and having it anchored at kuaw.org. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. KUAW.org every Saturday, 1 until 2 p.m. So now, this is what I'm talking about. For some of you, I hope it is repetition. I hope that you have heard us leading up to next Saturday when we can make the announcement in a more formal way. But here, Brother Walker, viewers and listeners, is what the Fifth Front campaign is all about. So let me try this and see if my holding up props does indeed work. But here is okay. Thank you very much. This is the Fifth Front campaign, America's Future in America's Schools. The Fifth Front campaign. This Fifth Front campaign is sponsored by Stutes for Boots, American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops. Now, this is more challenging, but let's see if perhaps you can see that as well. And I am uh, suggesting in global confrontations, it is and apparently standard to address the conflict on four fronts: the military front, the intelligence front, the financial front, and the diplomatic front. Now, when I wrote my book, The Fifth Front, I got that quote from Bob Woodward's book, Bush at War. As important, indeed, as imperative as are these fronts, and that is these four fronts. A fifth front, the education front, is at least as important. In fact, I think it is the most important front. Now, what I am saying to you in offering that statement is when I read page 73, Bob Woodward's book, Bush at War, this was in 2004 when I was writing the book, The Fifth Front Campaign, and came across that quote. In my book, I quoted George Bush because that's who Bob Woodward said that. But Brother Walker and others, let me say that on news programs, documentaries, and in some other articles and books, I saw military intelligence, diplomatic, and financial mentioned almost as though it is SOP, standard operating procedure. So nobody is surprised when there is a confrontation and you hear this is the way that we are attacking it on the military front, on the intelligence side, on the diplomatic front, on the financial front. That is standard. What I have not heard, except for my own mention So that is to the two or three people who might be listening to me at the time, the fifth front is just as important. Well, over the years, what I have seen and what we are into now causes me to think that the fifth front is the most important because it is the education front. So now, please allow my repetition, because those of you who have seen us lately have heard me say that when we look around at what is going on in our nation today, in fact, in the world, we are certain to be on sound footing if we say these issues are not going to be solved this weekend. In fact, these issues are not going to be solved before the end of 2021. These issues are going to be addressed and hopefully solved by someone sitting in a sixth grade class in 2021, someone who is in preschool, young people in secondary schools who have the wherewithal to confront critical thinking and to be able to assess what is going on today and how they can overcome some of the rough spots. This is why Wave Your Grades, this program, every Saturday, 1 until 2, the book, The Fifth Front Campaign, and Stutes for Boots, the 501c3 organization that asks American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops, must be very sober about the way we launch the campaign. It is because March 3rd, 1942 was my birth date. I will be 80 years old next year, and I have not seen divisiveness and situations that need attention all the way to climate change in my lifetime like I am seeing now. And that is just the truth of the matter. It is unfortunate that we are so divisive along ideological and political lines. It is unfortunate that there are natural disasters to the extent that you will see citizens talking about fires on the West Coast like they have never seen. You will see citizens in other nations are saying that this volcano is the worst we've ever encountered. You will hear discussions about earthquakes that are more formidable than have been presented to us before. Here you have right now nations meeting about climate change and confronting natural disaster issues like we've never seen before. Ideological confrontations, natural disasters. In the United States of America, you are looking at political powers considering how to address infrastructure, considering how to address education indeed, but as a secondary subject. You are looking at agreements and disagreements on the economy. I am saying that it is unfortunate when there are those in leadership positions who are causing American students, children, those who are not eligible to vote, those who are not adults, those who are not legal, to become pawns in our political struggle by asking American students to choose sides. The Fifth Front campaign, that fifth side that for me supersedes even military intelligence, financial, and diplomatic. Now, that is Carl Boyd speaking, but Stutes for Boots is launching the Fifth Front campaign that says, take our children out of the politics and offer them the kind of education that will cause them to think critically and to plan ahead, so that not next week, not the end of the year, but in decades to come, we will overcome some of the problems that are confronting all of us, but certainly our young people today. I am saying that the Fifth Front campaign asks that all adult Americans agree upon at least two things. Well, as a matter of fact, I'll add the third thing that is consistent with the two. But these are two things upon which we can agree. One, those who are sent to confront wars, our military personnel, active duty, who come back as veterans, should come back to a better America than was the case when they left. In other words, making improvements in our societies ought to be something upon which we can agree is due those who fight for us. The second thing upon which I think we can all agree is we have a responsibility to present to our children their best opportunities to confront a better society. Therefore, as educators, their responsibility is to be apolitical. And if somehow it is necessary to be political, at least nonpartisan political, but to say to our young people that we respect you and we will protect you so that you are the ones who are in the position to make a better society. So if we can agree that we owe our children protection and the best opportunity to fashion a better world, if we can agree that our veterans deserve a society that says thank you to them in better ways than just words, but then we can agree on number three, and that is that allows all of us to come together to help our children to understand that their role is to look forward to a better society. Adults can be as political as we want to be. We can be as angry with each other as we want to be. But we owe it to our children to allow them to take a look at how they can then make it better later, not being political now, but being academics now. I'm saying to you, and I shall continue to say to you, that this fifth front, ought to be the first front when it comes to importance. So next Saturday, indeed, we will kick off in a formal way the Fifth Front First campaign. Let me remind you that this is Wave Your Grades. My name is Carl Boyd. I'm your host every Saturday, 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW.org, where we allow veterans to say thank you to students for thanking them, the veterans, by improving in school. And by the way, you know what? I didn't even say that another reason that we want our young people to do better in school is because research has set before us the fact that other nations are outperforming American students. And oftentimes, in what we think of as critical subjects, such as science, technology, engineering, and math, even as we would add art and other critical subjects, as even now we have this conversation about critical race theory that is political. I have some very strong feelings about those things, but I would ask that all American students search for those things true of what got us to where we are and how we can get to a better place together. We are going to kick off the Fifth Front First campaign. Now, for those of you who are interested in joining what we are doing, let me just say that you will be hearing and seeing things through stootsforboots.com, stootsforboots.com. And if you have ideas, if you have questions, you can contact stootsforboots at gmail.com, stootsforboots at gmail.com. Our phone number, 816 469 9925. 816 469 9925. Stoots for Boots, kicking off the Fifth Front First campaign in a very formal way. The first Saturday in November. Looking forward to it next week. Now, Brother Walker, being with us, I had intended, as a matter of fact, I have it set up to offer the theme song and then talk about what that is all about, what the words mean, trying to memorize them myself. But getting into and seeing how we are on time, getting into the Fifth Front campaign, let me tell you how blessed we have been as it relates to support. I mentioned that VFW Post 8100 has been kind enough to allow me to become part of the auxiliary. Gerald Campbell, former commander of VFW 8100, is the one who presented me with the Proud Military Advocate cap. I have mentioned that one of the reasons I don't want to wear it too often is because every time I wear it in public, somebody thanks me for my service, and then I have to say, no, I am a civilian. This is actually a proud military advocate, because I am so appreciative of those who serve and have served. But I am certainly proud of the cap and proud to wear it within the proper context. So that was one thing. Before I get to the theme song, it also occurred to me that I wanted to mention, this is just so thrilling, I guess, perhaps. I am so appreciative. Brother Walker, I was actually on a Zoom call with Cheryl Brown Henderson. She is Linda Brown's sister of Brown versus Topeka Board of Education. Now, this is a Zoom call. Cheryl Brown Henderson. Keith Plessy, Plessy, Keith Plessy, yes, a descendant of Plessy versus Ferguson, the separate but equal decision, and Leona Tate from New Orleans, who in 1960 was with the McDonough 19. And these are children who were not just discriminated against when they desegregated that school, but they were the subjects of taunting and even violence. And those three allowed me to be on a Zoom call with that much history And I mention them because when I launch the Fifth Front First campaign, if they will allow me, they will be my first official guests in the launching and the kicking off of that campaign, because if the importance of education cannot be realized when you say those three names, then I guess we don't understand what importance means when it comes to education. My goodness. And Cheryl Brown Henderson has also allowed me for several years now to be a member of the board of the Brown Foundation. So you can see why it is that I feel so wonderful about that and want to talk about it within the context of the Fifth Front First. Yesterday, today is Saturday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I had the pleasure of just stopping by Brookside Charter Academy to hand off something to Sean Barber, and was acquainted with the ambassadors and members of 15 and the Mahomes Foundation, so that when we talk about the importance of education and have someone supporting that particular charter school, but education in general, with the stature of Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, it helps me to understand that the Fifth Front First campaign will feature those who are willing to say that they agree with the importance of education to the extent that they are going into schools, they are talking to young people, they are allowing young people to meet celebrity in a way that many of us, when growing up, had not such opportunities. I get an opportunity to claim. Therefore, then, there are many more than I who are understanding why the Fifth Front is first. My goodness. I said Cheryl Brown Henderson and Keith Plessy and Leona Tate, education history, and then the 15 and the Mahomes Foundation, education presence, and they were participating with the Lead to Read KC program, and it just happens, and this is a blessing, that one of our Sunday school classmates, Wanda and I, are members of Friendship Baptist Church, and we Zoom our Sunday, as many people are doing now, we Zoom our Sunday school classes every Sunday morning, and class number 12 happens to have as one of our classmates Dr. Tiffany Anderson, who happens to be the superintendent of schools in Topeka, Kansas. So when you talk about Cheryl Brown Henderson, you're talking about Brown v. Topeka Board of Education, and now not just a Black woman superintendent in Topeka, but an extraordinary superintendent who has been noted nationwide for what she is doing in that district. And we will have the opportunity to find out the kinds of things that she is doing there. And here again, why we should support education. Perhaps you know, and I think you do, that when we started Stutes for Boots, as a matter of fact, in the book, Academic Patriotism, I thank the first 23 students who became a part of the program, who were students at Ruskin and were under the guidance and direction of Colonel Glasgow. And We have since then enjoyed a close relationship with Principal Anthony Madry at Central High School. Now, I'm just giving those as uh, examples because yesterday, Brookside Charter Academy hosted the 15 and the Mahomes Foundation, and we are talking about Lead to Read. My goodness, America needs to know. And Brother Walker, and again, listeners and watchers, I don't know altogether how I'm going to do this in a way that is commensurate with Fifth Front being first, but the entire nation needs to know and understand that we are blessed to say that education is number one, education is first, broadcasting from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. Over the years, there was a point at which I was going to 65 districts a year. And out of all the places that I've gone that had tutorial programs, there was one that I thought that might be close to the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center in Kansas City, Missouri. But if there are those who are supporters of education who want to find out the best way to do it, I was looking at when I looked off, I wanted to look at my time. They need to study the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. When I was in Princeton, and they had a tutorial program that I thought was outstanding. One of the differences is the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and we have producing and engineering with us Brother Louis George Walker, who can correct me if I am wrong, but my understanding from its founding was through Leon Dixon and Bill Grace, founded with volunteers tutoring young people after school and on Saturdays. Starting small at a church, finding each other, and the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. And I think, Brother Walker, I saw you nodding your head. So thank you.
Claim knowledge of that I was there earlier, but the Learning Center was.
Things have evolved with my being allowed to be on KUAW.org, and you're taking it from where it was to where it is going. Wow, you know what? As a matter of fact, I have been going on and on from the perspective that I have where Fifth Front First is concerned. But Louis George Walker, would you please let those of us who can appreciate know the offerings from KUAW.org, again, originated at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, so that all can participate beyond Waive Your Grades. But this KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, has some significant offerings. And when you talked to us the last time, I heard a little echo. But at any rate, do you mind, please, just bringing us up to date on KUAW?
Yeah, I was trying to see how to stop this echo bit. No, because I turned your mic down. But mute your mic for a minute. We'll see if that has anything to do with it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll have to turn it back over to you. I don't know why it seems to be doing that today. I know I've talked to you before on here and didn't have that.
Okay. All right. And unfortunately, there was that echo because I really, really appreciate it when Louis George Walker informs us as to the fare to which we are treated on KUAW.org on an ongoing basis. And I certainly pray that all will avail themselves of the opportunity to enjoy all of that programming. And it does indeed contribute to knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And when I think about all of those programs to which I have been exposed because of KUAW.org, once again, we are going to emphasize those things next Saturday, the first Saturday of November, Veterans Month. Of course, November 11th is Veterans Day, but that's going to be a very special. Oh, I'm sorry, you ready? You're coming through now. I didn't hear the echo with that. If you don't mind. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, Brother Walker was saying to those of you who did not hear him to please join KUAW.org, but you can go to www.kuaw.org. And okay, I want to just once again say every Saturday, 1 until 2 p.m., Waive Your Grades, which is this program, will be featuring veterans and students talking about the relationship of students striving for excellence in honor of our vets being for real. Also, we will have the opportunity for the veterans to talk to the students, and we will be talking about programs involving a partnership between American students and those who have served. One very simple example, for instance, is VFW 8100 essay contests, where students get an opportunity to participate and win significant prizes. But the real prize is to create a better society. And so it is that I will be talking about the fifth front first, based upon this 2006 book. I actually finished it in 2004, published it in 2006, because another announcement that I will have is that Purpose Publishing is going to publish our calendar, and we will be reprinting our book, and we will be going into our program full force. So certainly we will be looking for our daily messages to students across the USA. Your Students for Boots message for this day. I may have time to uh, offer the theme song and the words to the theme song. We will have young people as guests on the program, reporting on a weekly basis the kinds of things that they are doing that enhance academic performance. We will have the educators and educational administrators not only talking about what the students are doing, but also helping us to understand how we can support what our students are doing, how we can become involved, what parents and teachers in partnership are doing, how they are enhancing that partnership, how you can become a part of it. Now, as for me, when I say fifth front first, when I talk about the fact that I think that comes even before military intelligence, diplomatic, financial, I am saying that I am not ashamed of my prejudice about the importance of education. But let us please understand what I am talking about, because I am one of those who suggests that there is a difference between schooling and education. One of the reasons that early on I was so proud to know about and know those involved with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center is because, and Brother Walker, it is still true, those young people and their parents who get involved with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center are not just dealing with academics, but they are dealing with human development. They are dealing with social relationships. They are dealing with supporting auxiliary campaigns that enhance academics. When I get an opportunity on this program, prayerfully, to interview Dr. Tiffany Anderson, to interview Dr. Mark Bedell, to have on the program distinguished educators, they will have us to understand that all of these things in which our young people are engaged are extremely important, but all 100% are designed to enhance their academic performance. So we are not asking young people to come on. Of course, we are very proud that in Kansas City, Missouri, Super Bowl caliber, outstanding quarterback Patrick Mahomes is among those who are touchable by the young people, who will come and let people know how interested he is in education. That's not enough. He is saying, and those who support him, and not just the Kansas City Chiefs, but other professional athletes are saying, we are concerned about your learning. We are not supporting, just as a matter of cause or publicity, what schools are doing. He is letting young people know that if you cannot read, you cannot interpret plays. And it has always been very interesting. I'm an educator, started teaching 1964, 7th and 8th grade science on the south side of Chicago, that I have had young people who have left elementary school and gone to high school with accusations of not being able to read, and they get on the football team and suddenly they're able to not only read, but to memorize plays, and they know how to conduct a defense, or they know how to take the ball to the one hole or the three hole, or to block this person, and all of that be in their mindset for an entire game. We who teach the academic subjects in school will not let them get away with that. We know that you are sharp enough to understand all things academic if you can do that on the football field. And that's what 15 and Mahomes is talking about. That's what Sean Barber is talking about. That Willie Mays Aikens has talked about even on our program. This is a blessing. And we are looking forward to that time when indeed we will announce formally, so that's next Saturday, our fifth front first campaign. Brother Walker, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to put on my proud military advocate cap. Now, hopefully, that will not disturb the function of my brain as I memorize the words to our theme song. And let me tell you why I will be doing this depending upon where I am at the time, but where there are students present, I really want them to embrace the words because I really am trying to get a message in this quote, geriatric rap, unquote, if you will. But I will suggest that I am serious. And this is what you will hear in presentations. And we will be recording it. I think that when we kick off, we'll make a determination, and you can direct me, Brother Walker, as to whether or not we might just play the theme song and display the lyrics so that students and others can read what is being said at the time that I'm saying it. So here's the theme song before we get off this afternoon. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. I had hit number one instead of number two. Number one is the vocal, number two is the instrumental. But in that meantime, I had gone to get today's morning message for the students. So I picked that up, and I will do that before we're off. But I think, Brother Walker, I might have just stated a real good case for playing it and displaying the words. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, now this is interesting because you will recall in the days of television production, and they would always say, "Don't wear anything white. Don't post anything that is white, because the camera cannot receive and interpret that white shirt that you're wearing or that white sheet that you're displaying." And now we're able to do that, and you can actually see on a white piece of paper our message for today. So who knows how we might be able to deliver that. But I am really excited about that announcement to be taking place next Saturday. So in it, I'm sorry, go ahead, please. Okay. So in as much as I have indeed talked about the Fifth Front First campaign and how we're going to do it, that brings us to the culmination of today's program. But man, I am so thrilled talking about having the opportunity. Now, by the way, I did not meet Patrick Mahomes yesterday. It was the 15 and Mahomes Foundation representatives who were there, but meeting them was significant enough. And being able to have Sean Barber say that he will be a future guest, and some of the others. But again, Cheryl Brown, Henderson Plessy, Keith Plessy, Leona Tate, Tiffany Anderson, Mark Bedell, Anthony Madry, on and on. Colonel Plasko at Ruskin. We are going to talk about and demonstrate how America's schools can be the greatest in the world. But what is most important is that they have the greatest responsibility right here in the United States of America. My name is Carl Boyd. This is Wave Your Grades. Today is October 30th. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, October 30th. If you are even thinking about dropping out of school, listen to a veteran who drops in to see you. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, October 30th. If you are even thinking about dropping out of school, listen to a veteran who drops in to see you. Again, Carl Boyd, Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda,